says connected to chat now.
Yeah, and the other one is fine, it's disconnected.
Okay, so can you see this one?
I have to refresh my phone.
Okay. Keep saying poor connection every now and then. I don't get it.
Okay, well, it's not buffering.
So that one's working.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Okay.
Have you ever tried to type it in the chat yourself?
I'll try it now. Oh, I've just said g'day.
Yeah.
But what it does, if you come to the door, I'll show you. This like internet up here, it normally is just green, but it's going green, then off,
Yeah.
then on, then off, and on. I don't get it.
Well, it's not buffering.
Oh, hello, Kiwi. I think it's something to do with our internet. I don't know. But I think it's working now. Yes, we had the first of our windows put in today. And it's quite windy here tonight. Yeah, up the top on my Streamlabs, it's got that internet thing, you know, the 3 bars, dot and 2 bars. Well, it goes on, then it goes off, then it goes on, then it goes off. So I don't know what's going. Maybe it's the wind. I don't know. It's going on and off again now. Apologies. It may or may not work. Try again, Lois. Hello. I don't know if I'm buffering, but this internet keeps saying on my screen, good, then poor connection, good, then poor connection. Yeah, imagine you're copping some weather over there. New Zealand always has a harsh change of seasons. Hello, Keeping.
Keeping, beat me to it.
What's that?
I tried to beat him doing my little emoji I do for everyone.
Ah, yeah.
Beat me.
Yeah, so I won't move the camera, but you can see the window in front of you. That's what all 3 of the windows in the office and the 2 bedrooms are going to be. It's an Art Deco type window, and one of them's in. But when I took this camera down to there, we lost connection and everything started to buffer. So I'm not going to move it, just in case. Watched Keeping's video, had a nice meal. I think it was pork, I could be wrong. Pork and beans, nothing wrong with that. That's true. If it's too cold, you'll have to go inside to drink. Yeah, we took a long time to find these windows. They're the size we wanted. We could have put new windows in, but we wanted something to carry a little bit of the old house through to the new extension. So pork loin, yeah, I thought it was. Hello, Bunny Chosha. I'll risk it. I'm going to take you quickly. I'll come back. I'm going to show you the window that has been installed. I think I'll go about here. I don't think I'd go any closer because I'll probably lose you. But that's what the windows will look like in. And there's work to be done to them. Scrape them back, sand them, and all that sort of thing. That's the other one going in the office. I probably lost you on that little trip. Apologies if I did. Yeah, it's getting there. This is week 7, Tuesday here, of course. and it'll move on quite quickly because the outside leaf of bricks goes up pretty high from the ground, so they had to use a lot of scaffolding. Inside, it's not too bad, so there'll be a bit of scaffolding later, but they'll move quite quickly. By the end of this week, you'll get a sort of formulation. There'll still be some walls missing internally, but some formulation of what the house will look like. Good. Yeah, no, I think it's our internet. We pay a lot of money for crap, but that's pretty much Australia's internet service. And I've got 4G, which is normally good, but that I went to in the first stream I did earlier, and it didn't do any good. How long before you're dried in? I'm not sure what dried in means.
Meaning the walls done, meaning the house.
You mean plaster on the inside? And, well, when we finish, properly finish, probably about February or March. That's all the little bits and pieces, like architrave, painting, etc. But the actual roof walls and windows will be in probably by early December. Hello, Seal Hater. Yeah, not too bad. I mean, we started late August, so like I say, this is week 7. It's not too bad. It's no, we won't have any problem with electricity because we're going pretty big solar, but internet, yes. Hello, Buttercup. I didn't miss you this time.
Buttercup, the biggest, warmest welcome. And I love you, Buttercup, because you missed her last time.
Yeah, I really like Buttercup. And Seal Hater says, hi, C's wife. So in a normal build, it may be a bit quicker, but because this is an addition, a renovation, adding on to the old cottage, I didn't mean to ignore you, Buttercup. I just didn't see you on the little screen I have. But being conforming, pulling roof tiles off, putting new framing up, it slows it down a little bit. But the build will probably be start to finish for them 20 weeks, but there's another 4 to 6 weeks of bits and pieces. You're being mean, Buttercup. I'm going to cry now. No, I'm over it. It's okay. Does you play for All Blacks? Actually, Japan beat Scotland. I thought that was astonishing. Good for the country, for Japan. I just went through a horrendous typhoon. But I would have lost money on it if someone said bet on the game between Japan and Scotland. I wouldn't have put a cent on. Yeah, I don't think Seal Hater gets what you're saying. All Blacks are the New Zealand rugby team, Seal Hater. Yeah, I need a bigger phone. It'll come. It's not a priority at the moment. Yeah, it always is, keeping. I built my first 2 homes, and this part of the work is pretty straightforward, but it's all the painting, architrave, skirtings, light fittings, you know what I mean, fit out the kitchen. They're all time consuming. But we're not in a rush. We'll get it done when we get it going. Everyone, look, I mean, Buttercup. Australia beat the USA in baseball recently, but you never hear of that. You wouldn't have heard that in the US, but we did. We beat them. And you know what we also beat? We beat the US basketball team. So all within the 1 year, we beat their baseball and basketball teams. Of course, no one will tell you that. You're not allowed to hear that American teams get beaten. They would have just blacked it out. Would have been like, oh, we'll go now to the weather.
Oh God, now my phone's playing up. Why is Kiwi's message held for review?
I have no idea.
My phone's frozen.
Maybe he said a word. Oh, he said New Zealand. That word's banned. No, I'm only kidding. I don't know why.
No, it's showing.
Or maybe shooting. You know what YouTube are like.
Yeah, is it showing?
Yeah, it's showing.
Whose was it?
You said Kiwi.
Yeah.
You said New Zealand red flag got shooting a seal. Is that you farting or something of the building material?
It's the building material.
All right, okay.
It was me farting.
All right.
I don't up to it. I'm right here. You don't have to win.
This material is what goes on the outside layer of bricks.
See that?
Yeah. And it's an insulator. It's got all these fibres in it, but it's not. There's no dust that comes off it. It's good for asthmatics. No, it wasn't me. There's a big piece of plastic behind my wife. It did sound like she let one rip, but it's actually just the plastic going up against the wall.
I told you if it was me, I'd own up to it. Not a problem.
No, we've got very powerful internet. It's just, I think you're right, maybe tonight we'll turn it on. Apparently when you turn on and off your modem, that helps. I don't know why, it clears the line or something. But we've done that a few times and it's worked, hasn't it?
Yeah, it does play up. This area is known sometimes, and then people ring up and complain, and then all of a sudden it works beautifully. It's like they throttle down your internet. Oh, hey, Biker, I didn't see you there.
All right, mate. If there's a nurse there, I don't know what you're talking to me for. Good on you, mate. Hope all goes well.
Yeah, clearing, that's right, Buttercup, I'll have to do that later. I do usually do it once a fortnight.
Yeah, so on the inside of the house it'll be rendered plaster. On the outside it's a spray. Ends up like a little knobbly spray finish, and it's going to be in like an Arctic off-white colour, isn't it? Or antique? Was it antique?
Antique.
Antique colour.
I don't want things just straight out white.
Mm-mm. No, I haven't seen Aussie Shooter for a long time. Don't know what he's up to.
Yeah, that's true.
Been a few months since I've heard from him.
I hope he's alright.
He comes and goes. He's a big boy, look after himself.
I haven't even looked at
Hello, Tony. This is take 2.
I haven't even looked at his channel.
Yeah,
It's
sort of a
strange.
stucco. It's a bit hard to explain. It's a fairly modern process, but it's stucco-ish, if you know what I mean, keeping. But yeah, it took ages for us to find these windows. We wanted a certain size. We wanted a sash opening on each side of the window and a main area unsashed, so we got them, but we looked at getting them made at one stage and it's just horrendous. It would have been well over 3,500 to 4,000 each window. I got these for 300 each. What are you doing? Window seeds. What I'm going to do is that we are going to get them, because if you know sash windows, they have runners, like a spring or levy system. All the windows are being installed by the brickies now, and there's some repair to do to the glass. But when it boils down to the refurbishment, you need them in the wall first, and then you can sand them, take them back, put new runners in them. Do you have finishing time for your upgrades? Not really. A lot of the people I'll be getting to come to do certain things will be subcontractors that specialise in these old windows in particular.
What are you doing?
So it costs us about $4,000 for the windows, and that's all the colonial windows as well in the French stores. So that was a real bargain, but it's the age of them. So without batting an eyelid, we'll spend probably close to another $4,000 on them, refurbishing them back to their glory. So still well under the 20,000+ if I'd have built new ones.
Well, not quite that much, but
No, it was over 22 or 23.
Milo.
So time's not really a factor. We've got a cottage to live in that they're adding to. Yes, when they rip the big hole in the back, that'll be an interesting couple of weeks. But other than that, we're doing a fair few things ourselves. But you'll see the internal walls are probably, as far as being finished, are probably 4 weeks away. But you'll get a fair idea by the end of next week what this place will look like. It's a bit hard to discern with all the piles of bricks around and you don't get perspective. But it's coming. Is it all for your own company or are you going to sell? No, we're not selling. This is our end of the road house. If we were going to sell, we would have subdivided and built 2 houses and made a fortune. But we intend to stay here and we want a backyard. So we've only added on to the cottage. So we've designed it ourselves. Did they ever put that fire tower on the eastern town in Australia? I heard that was on fire. Our country's always on fire keeping. We lost, I know, in one fire alone, 30 or 40 homes. It's just normal. And this is not even summer. I know that the International Space Station did a documentary on Australia that it burns every day of every year. There are fires going on all the time. They haven't put this fire out, the one that's done a lot of damage. They've just tried to build fire breaks, turn it away from certain towns. And you're talking, what's an island? Well, here's a good one. Ireland, the country of Ireland. That will burn every month in Australia, the actual circumference and kilometres. Just happens all year round. Like we've had fires locally. We're just coming out of winter. We're going to have a horrendous fire season here, without doubt. You don't need to worry about sharks in Australia. Yeah, yep. New Zealand and Australia do a deal. They send critters over with their machinery too. It's not like they just fly over. Some do, but they'll actually ship them with their trucks and all, because we help each other out. We still got the puppies, but the squeaky bits are all the building materials flapping in the breeze, I'll be honest. On occasions it sounds like someone's letting go wind, but it's not. Well, no rain's good at the moment, Vinny. Mind you, the wife panics a bit if it looks like rain. I said, there's no damage that can happen, don't worry about it. But I was just telling people, Vinny, and you can back me up, this looks like insulation, but it's actually foil. You know, we're building actually a complete Faraday house So when the gamma rays come and solar bursts, we'll be fine. The rest of you will burn and to a crisp, but we'll be fine. So this is, Vinny, tell them, it's insulation for solar flares. It's part of the Faraday structure. They'll believe anything, mate, trust me.
We've still got the puppies.
Yeah, we've still got the puppies. And that is their squeaky toy. Well, one of about 50 they've got. I don't know whether you can see that window, Vinny. That's we got 3 of those, one for the office and one for the 2 bedrooms. They came out of a 1930 something. Oh, here we go. It's the puppy show.
Can you see her?
Yep.
Say hello. Say hello, you YouTube celebrities. Say hello. Milo, say hello in the camera. Can you see him?
I'll just have to turn it around if you just give me a sec. And I'll hold it up. There we go.
Don't look at me.
Hello.
Say hello. Milo, say hello to the people. Say hello to your people.
They are mischievous little buggers, I tell you. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the old sizer, but it's the new one, Vinny. It's called Aircell. Who makes it? Kingspan make it. Pretty good stuff, actually. It's not like the old sizer at all, really. It's probably about 6 mil thick.
They're chai keeping. They're chai chihuahuas.
They're what?
They're chai chihuahuas. Like
What?
our Pippi was a Mexican, these are different.
Okay.
And yes, Penny is long haired, but Milo's not.
She's having a go now, aren't they?
They're playing.
Let's see when they get serious. This bloody thing keeps saying poor connection, good connection, poor connection, good connection. I'm probably spinning again now. Are you still on there? Oh, she must. Is it buffering? Yeah, well, we're getting a 6-star rating for this, mate. All the bells and whistles are going into this as well. As you can see, the straps, maybe you can't. Straps are ready to go over. Yeah, if you spend the money on material, insulation, etc., and how you build, you get a rating in Australia. And if you walk into someone's house, you walk into this house, you'll think the air conditioner's on when it's not. It is, yeah. I mean, probably about a 20% increase overall going down that path, but it's our last house we're building, so it's happening.
They're fighting because they're in the same bed.
What's that? Darren says, Vinny, you'll breathe another day. Stop making a a-hole of yourself. Thank the oxygen. Must be something you know about, because I don't. Hello, Jag Girl. Oh, don't say hello to me then. Fine. Just say hello to Mystic. breadcrumb sausages for dinner. They were delicious. The humble sausage. You know, the one thing I've noticed, in the old days there was a tax on materials. I'm talking when I first built my first home. This GST creeps up on you. Jesus. You start adding up the GST componentry. Scary. I think the GST componentry in this house, I could buy 5 B-class vans without much doubt. Oh, did you? I didn't see you. Sorry, Jack.
He misses half the chat. And if I'm not there to read it for some of it to him,
What?
you overlook it.
You see how small this screen is?
It is, yeah. You need a bigger phone.
Yep, we either need a bigger phone or bigger writing. Chicken noodle soup. Oh, I love chicken noodle soup. I'm actually going to do a video. I mean, I'm sure most of you know how to make pasta. But I've never done one, even though I make my own pasta. I do buy pasta as well, I'm not going to lie. But making your own's pretty easy. And I'm going to do a video just showing you that. I've never done one. I'm surprised I've never done one, but I don't video every meal I make. Well, you'll probably be able to find out. You're still going ahead with your complex, Vinny? The council just loves to drag a little extra. Thank you very much. But loads of the blocks in Perth, they're just cutting them in half and putting 2 houses on them. There's not a great deal of saving. Like, you might buy a house for, say, on a bit of land for 500, but when they split it and build 2, you're still paying about 450. There's no real saving. But what it does do is increase the value of people who've got blocks with land. That's how it works. So it's not against me, it's for me when they do that. How much are they asking, Steve? You know the old famous line, Steve? Kiwi? Tell them they're dreaming. You spend a fortune on the gizmos. There are no gizmos in making pasta. There is no machine. It's flour, put a well in it, egg yolk, bit of olive oil, bit of salt. What sort of measurements? I don't know. I don't do measurements, but get a fork, mix it, get it to a point, knead it for 10 minutes, put a tiny little bit of olive oil on it, wrap in plastic and forget about it for an hour, and then come back and make your pasta. Homemade pasta is much better. It takes no time to cook. I'm saying 3 minutes. I like you too, Sil. Don't get too close. I'll have the man with the jukebox to tell you have to go. You're talking about a pasta roller. Yeah, if you want to. The thing about pasta, no matter whether you use a mechanical device or you do it by hand with a roller, the old saying is it should be thin enough that you can read a love letter through. And that's true. In other words, at least see your hand clear as day on the outside, so it's got to be quite thin. People make their own pasta, sometimes make the mistake of having it too thick. Here, some areas, 2 houses in one section, you're paying $1 million. Yeah, it depends where you live in Australia. I mean, a block around me now is 600,000. And the small ones go for about 450. When I say small, I'm talking 330 square metres. Tiny. There's one thing this generation's going to struggle is to buy a block of land, let alone build a house. It's getting way out of their reach. Yeah, just do videos. Even if you don't stream, just make a video. We've got a little stand we put the phones on, and I just cook, then stop it, like the boring bit, waiting 20 minutes for something to happen, and turn it back on again. But a lot of, like I say, pasta, when you see the video that I'll do, and I'll try and do it sometime this week, I'll probably get a bit of cream, bit of bacon, bit of mushroom, because the wife likes that, and a bit of shallot. But pasta, like I say, if you only ever do it once, and you know you can do it, well, later on you can do it again. And there's probably a billion videos on YouTube about making pasta anyway. But I'll do one. You can make all sorts of fancy things just with your hands, like the bow ties, little bow tie spaghetti. Well, that's just a little length of pasta that you squeeze in the middle. That's it. Looks fancy, but it's not complicated. Yeah, if you don't want to stream, Kobe, just film. Take your time. Keep saying I'm in poor connection. I'm probably spinning on you now. Apologise for that. I'm going to end this shortly. We'll try and reset the modem, I think. Yeah, the sun goes down a bit later here now. Actually, the Buttercup, trying to get kids to eat soup of anything is like, ugh, what's that? Alright, I'll knock this on the head and I'll come out with you. Oh, I could try that. Try it. I suppose. We're going to do a quick walkies. Walkies!
Stay. I have to get the lead on her.
Hello, you're going for walkies. Walkies! This one's hard to get the lead on. It doesn't like the harness or the lead.
Who?
Penny.
Once she's got it on, Penny, come here. Demonstration of putting a harness on.
Hang on. I'll be right with you.
Come on, my man.
Put the harness on.
I've got Milo's on. Penny's easy. She puts her feet in there.
I can't see because you...
She puts her feet in there and she waits.
You don't like it, do you?
No. Well, once she's got it on... Because if we didn't do this, they would... Right, come back.
Come on in.
Come on. Wait till I'm at the stairs, Milo. You watch Milo race down.
He's hopeless going downstairs.
Slow down.
He wants to jump from the top to the bottom. He's hopeless. It's windy out here too, isn't it? Buttercup, I've always found, is that a Russian dog? Yeah, it's rushing down the steps. I've always found with my kids in particular, I would get them to make the food. It's like when my kids are really young, my eldest son and my eldest daughter, she didn't like vegetables, nor did he, but I put them in charge of carrots for my daughter and peas for my son. And they'd sit at the table and they'd be eating the other one's carrots saying, yeah, it's okay, but my peas are better. So it's the same process with cooking. I started off with the most simplistic thing with kids, like they like spaghetti box. I showed them how to taste the pasta, make sure it was done properly. And just things like a hamburger. As soon as you get them interested in cooking, you can just step back. Will they burn stuff? Yep. Will they make mistakes? Yep. But that's how you learn. And yeah, so it's not that they don't appreciate it, they just don't want soup. But my daughter now, she'll always pop in. I'll make all different types of soup and she'll say, does there happen to be a tub of something for me? I say, yes. What they do more than anything though, Buttercup, is make excuses. They don't have time. Are you rocking a rope? Yes, I just went and got comfortable. Look, Kiwi. See, for us it doesn't get hot till it gets to 30, and that's not even hot, that's just pleasant. You can take a jumper off about then. She does cook, but you know, kids, they speak before they think. Yep. Yeah, I mean, all kids know everything, let's be honest. It's a given. But you can only do so much. But I tell you what, the kids, they've never snubbed at my food. It all disappears. Like if I make a whole heap of ribs or something, or some crumbed prawns or battered something or other, the kids just scoff it down. Because I like flavour, and the kids like flavour as well. No, we don't have daylight saving either. Queensland and WA just told them to stick it up your bum. You don't, all the old ads, Jag, remember, you know, you get an extra hour's sunlight. You don't get an extra hour's sunlight. I had a company where I had several truck drivers work for me, and they, like me, didn't like the idea of daylight saving. So instead of coming to work at 7, I'd say, come to work at 8, because that's the old 7. And they said, yep. So that's what happened in WA. We all told them, you can do what you like at the time, but we'll work to what we want to work. All the shops did it. Shops opened at the same time, but it was a different time. They forced it on us for a year, and we give them hell. So they haven't asked us again. I tell you what, you only have to ask a cow what the time is. It's milking time morning and milking time night. And eating time. No, cows don't need an extra hour of pretend sunlight. They know the sun will come up and down in its own good time. In WA, in the coldest, darkest day of the year, we have nearly 11 hours of sunlight. Why the hell would I want another one? Yeah, they forced it on New Zealand too. I remember seeing a funny skit. New Zealanders are very funny. And there was some, what they call dole bludgers, getting really angry with this daylight saving thing. One bloke turned to the other and said, I'm not getting up an hour earlier for no one. I'm going to go on strike. That's funny. The dogs are hunting in tall grass. Like wolves, hounds of the Baskerville. Got a pretty pink flower down there. I don't know whether you can see that. The red rose bush looks, well, it's more, wouldn't say it's red, would you?
What's that?
What's the colour of that rose bush flowers?
Oh, a shade of red.
It's very, yeah, not quite red, but the pink one next to it, real big one. That's a beauty. And that's the garden over there. That is week 4. Cucumbers are going berserk, and so is that cherry tomato. I'll do a catch-up video on that, maybe at the end of the week. Chihuahua. That's one way of saying it. Chihuahua. Yeah, that's a pain. 10 minutes from the New South Wales border. I just about know where you are, Jack. You wouldn't even have to tell me. You don't wear hippie clothing, do you? No? Jack knows what I'm talking about.
No, Penny, no. Hello? Come on.
Yeah, I mean the truth about daylight saving, and this is the truth. It's for commerce. It's for stock exchanges, trading. That's why they do it. No other reason. Travelling. We were thinking of May, but now we're thinking if we can tie in the missus being able to be in Salem for next year's Halloween, we might spend the early part of October in Canada and then come to the US to see some of our family members and friends. That's probably what will happen. She really wants to try the Halloween in Salem. What she wants to do. May we could do because the house will be basically finished. Yeah, Massachusetts. But loads of Australians travel. Doesn't matter where we've been, there's always been Aussies, isn't there? Every country we've been in,
Yeah.
there's always Aussies. Yeah, it's if it was going to serve a purpose for the average guy Kiwi, I'd agree with it, but it doesn't. In fact, one of the arguments is that because the daylight stays longer, I mean, our sun goes down about 9 in the middle of summer, so in effect it's 10 by their time. You try and put your kids to bed in daylight. Any of you had kids? Know what I'm talking about? Try and put them to bed, while it's still daylight.
Come on. Good job.
Hello, puppy dogs.
Come on, Penny. Good job.
Do they do any business?
No.
They withheld their tax. You're going to make me? Yeah, we'll catch up. I don't force. We've met a lot of people on YouTube. You've never seen any videos of it except one. You saw a little bit of JP when we caught up. No, if you do the research, you'll find that it's all to do with the stock exchanges. Countries don't want to miss out, even though it's only an hour. You'll see the US at the moment goes back to normal time, and Australia goes forward. It keeps them in touch with the trade markets of Asia, UK, US. It's not meant for the average person. Nothing to do with it. But there is no difference in time. No matter what someone tells you, if I say to Kiwi now it's 5 in the morning, and he says no it's not, I say well it is now, from now on for the next 6 months it's 5. You go alright, wouldn't be happy. I know when I was a kid and I lived in the north, a place called Fradley in the UK, and I'm not kidding you, 3:30 the sun went down in the middle of winter, so you go to school in the dark and you come home in the dark. It's not hard to meet people at all. If I said I was going to be at a certain pub, if you happen to be near, and if you come, you come. If you don't, you don't. I don't like the idea of people being forced to meet. People are nervous, a bit anxious. Don't do it. Simple as that. There's no point forcing a meeting. I mean, the one thing I would never do, like I say, is put people on film while I'm trying to find out a little bit about them. Well, as soon as I meet you, I'll put you on camera, we'll go live. What for? The idea of meeting someone is to get to know at least a little bit about them, and you may never meet again. Yeah, no, cows don't have a watch. They're not interested. And the farmers didn't follow daylight saving. They still don't. They get up when the cows are moving. You'll ask any dairy farmer. There's no such thing as daylight saving. Yeah, I see quite a lot of forced meetings on YouTube, and it's wrong as far as I'm concerned, because how on earth can you discover each other and learn a little bit about each other if you've got a camera in their face? Doesn't make any sense to me at all. You're just using then people for content, which is not why you meet people. down there for you.
That's right.
But like I say, if you do get an opportunity to meet someone on YouTube, get to know them a lot first. Meet them in an area where it's public, and if you're a little bit concerned or anxious, you can run away. Don't ever feel obliged to go somewhere where someone tells you to be at a certain time, and then they stick a camera in your face. They're never going to be your friend. You're just being used for content, which is crazy.
Damn, do you mean we can't use people?
No.
Just kidding.
No, I'd never do that.
Just kidding.
Right, lots of people do it. Or take something sharp and pointed. That's a good idea. You'd know. Everyone's with at least an ounce of intelligence will have worked out people well before they meet them. And I suggest people discern a lot before you do that. In other words, have a good think about it. There's nothing to gain initially from meeting a stranger. But if you find that over a couple of years at least you've got to work out what they're like, and they seem genuine, and they're not just an avatar. Would I ever meet someone that I've never seen? No, because I want to know who I'm looking for starters.
No, that doesn't bother me. We can meet in a cafe, it's fine.
Yeah, my name's the Mad Murderer. I'll meet you on 5th and 7th Street.
No, there's people I'd meet I haven't seen on camp. I'd meet them in a cafe, public place, no big deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. I've never seen Kiwi, but I wouldn't bat an eyelid going over there. Why? I can discern through his text. Because you may or may not know it, but how you write is how you speak. Truly.
Sometimes.
No, it's a fact. You can't be somebody else when you text or type. You are presenting yourself through words. But you've seen them. You've all seen them where people say, yeah, we'll have a... I don't know what they even call it now. What do they call it when everyone gets in a house? What's that called?
Stream house.
Stream house. Never met anyone, and you all get together in a place, and all you do is film. You're not meeting friends at all. You're having an opportunity to have a bit of content, which is ridiculous. But that's not for me to tell anyone what to do, but that seems silly. No, I don't like drama at all. I mean, it's got to the point, it's become ridiculous, Kiwi. As soon as you see a super chat sign go up down someone's channel, it turns to shit. It just seems to be a never-ending bitch session. Egos, greed, manipulation, running a narrative to suit you donating to that button.
Yeah, it's tiresome hearing about it.
It's just, I just think I'm tired of it. So I won't be going to anyone's channel, friend or foe, who has a $sign down the bottom. Why? Because I decide I don't want to watch a shit show. All the channels that you've watched in the last 2 years changed from just being a normal channel, getting AdSense, which is fine, you're getting paid for your content, to going over to the Super Chat, the Streamlabs, the PayPal, whatever, and then their channel turns to shit. You've all seen it. So what's the best way for me not to encounter that? Don't go any channel who's got a $sign. That's it. Life is real short.
Oh, what time is it for everyone up where they are? Must be early.
Well, it's late for Kiwi. And it's early for a lot of people. What is the time?
It is 6:15 here.
Well, east coast of the US, it's 6:15 in the morning. Yeah, it's true, Buttercup. I mean, I think it's enhanced online, the mental health issues. And some people react really badly. Yeah, it would be no different if we meet you, Kiwi. I'm not going to put on any airs and graces when I meet you. I'd say, how you going, bullhead? You buying the first shout or me? I have no great expectations of other people. If you meet, good. If you don't, fine.
Better check on the puppies. That's
I mean,
me.
psychologically, half of the population are crazy. I'm not making that up. 1 in the 5 of the ones that are crazy are potentially very dangerous, depending on what happens and the circumstances that occur. Booze is keeping him awake. Well, you probably get an alcohol blood reading shortly. Not a blood alcohol reading. You'll probably get pulled over and say, mate, you need to drink more. You're way below your level. Hello, Danny G. Fine as old lady. 5 hours ahead. Actually, 5 hours. I think there's a difference. I mean, everybody suffers some sort of, I wouldn't say mental illness, but there are anxieties within people. And if you're anxious and nervous, doesn't mean you've got mental health issues. It means there are certain issues that affect you. Mental health issues go down the path of real value as far as crazy, like doing stupid things, saying terrible things. People that are, if you want to say, a little bit crazy, are fine. But it saddens me to see where a lot of this goes with people with issues. They all see the dollar sign, all the channels that chase. And then there's wars and fights, and she said, he said, vice versa. I just find it laughable. If I pop into a channel quickly and I see someone saying, well, Maeve has been, and on the other channel, and I'm not allowed to go there, because I'm thinking, get a life. Turn it off. And some people have to be online because their egos are so huge.
Did you say hello to Danny?
I did say hello to Danny.
You're
Yep.
just checking, because I'm in
Yep.
and out with the puppy dogs.
Yep. But people sometimes in life online want their ego polished, even though their life may be pretentious, not real, and they're not who they say they are. If you don't live up to their narrative, they will turn on you like a snake. See later says, I'm a smart Dharma BS. Okay. And some people say they like the drama, and good luck to you. I'm not going to stop you going. I have no say in what people, where they go. I never would. I just choose now not to go to those certain channels because they're all becoming the same. If you know what I mean by that statement, ever think about it. You go to one channel, it's a shit show. That one ends, you go to another channel, it's a shit show. And like bloodhounds, a lot of people go from one channel to the other just waiting for someone to be a victim, and without question they'll follow the narrative because then they won't get booted. You see where I'm going with this? The manipulation taking place. It's very sad. They've all become the same. I mentioned it the other night about when I first saw the group that was called The Bottom of YouTube. It was diverse, witty, humorous, some a little bit sassy, some a bit indifferent, but there was a big mixture. And if it was a mall and we went to it, every shop would be different. But now, the Boit of Mall of Boit, you go to one door, it's the same. Go to another door, it's the same. The individuality of each and every person that had a channel that had individuality is now doing the same shit. It's like shit show gets numbers. That's why I never get big numbers here. But I'm not going to be upset.
Is Danny getting ready for work?
Danny will be getting dressed as we speak. I think Danny G should do a morning cam, like a big camera on the wall. The Danny G morning getting ready for work show. Half an hour at least, maybe an hour.
Don't mention sheep to Kiwis.
Yep, if you're going to mention sheep to Kiwi, Buttercup, you have to sing this song. Love is in the air, every time I turn around. Just kidding, mate. So it saddens me that it's all become the same shit show wherever you go. And greed. 2 years ago is all you need. I've got a memory which is a curse, not a gift. But I remember when most of these channels weren't having signs down the bottom saying donate, links saying tip me, another link saying go fund me, you name it. It's a gamut of all of that now. Yeah, I think that if all of us gathered round a campfire, we'd have a good night. That's how I see it. Might have to keep Kiwi away from the ice bucket though. That's enough, Kiwi. Leave me Scotch alone.
Well, it's cold today, so...
Do what?
It's cold today, so... And windy.
Well, if it's cold today, you can cuddle up to a sheep, keep you warm. Insulation values. That's it. There's plenty of songs in there. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
With sheep. Yes. Remember before Rosie, yes we do.
Oh, we go back a long way. Oh, I've seen some of the original scammers who are gone or in jail. But it's like someone saw the formula to make a few dollars, and it's only a few dollars. And the formula is a shit show, accusation, lies, suppositions, sort of the truth, but not all of the truth, and then leave you lingering saying by tomorrow I'll have more information. Don't forget to donate, or just tip, just a gentle tip. Doesn't hurt anyone, really. Some people are lost.
Yes, see, Danny's getting worried. It's my time of arrival on our pool boy. Oh, could be a week, Danny, on our pool boy. Got one for Buttercup as well.
So what are you going to do, Danny, when you get a pool boy? Are you going to get a pool? Oh, I'll explain it to my husband that he's in training before we get the pool. Well, e-beggars are all very similar. You'll get the ones that are subtle.
Oh, now I get it. You mean the old, what do they call it back in the day?
Shamans?
No, the ones that used to...
Oh, you mean the snake oil?
Yeah, and all that
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. Whoa. Can't make it. Yeah, the snake oil and all that stuff.
I mean, some people's channels have turned into a bit of a farce along the lines of, yeah, they're making a few dollars, not a lot, but for the reward of being greedy, people are leaving in flocks. Hello, Adam K, my friend. I quickly jumped into, I think it was, forgive me if I'm wrong, Colleen Aloha channel, and she had 300 or 400 people talking and discussing behaviours of a certain character at this time. And I mentioned that the fact that you've probably got a lot of people in here is that you're not asking for money and you're discussing the behaviour of people. In other words, you're dealing with fact. Whereas a lot of other channels lie, deal in fiction, create a story, run a narrative, change it when they please, but want you to donate for the privilege. If anyone says that you should donate to support a channel, have a good think about what you're saying. Oh, there's an old English cab driving past,
An old cab.
but it's white, not black.
Actually, they're expensive here.
Yeah, I like I say, I'm saddened by some of the channels that have gone down that path, but it's their channel, do as they please. But it showed me today that over 300 people went to a room where there was no money required and they were discussing the behaviours of someone, which is fine. No accusation, lies or fibs. So it would seem that there is now a calling for channels just like that, where you're not expected to give any money and you can just interact on the basis of discussing behaviour. Not she said, he said.
Speaking of that, I better check the puppies.
I imagine the puppies will probably either be fighting
I'll wait till you come.
or eating something they shouldn't.
Wait till you come in for a shower.
Alright, I won't be long. But like I say, overall, all the greed and nonsense and money signs and all that, all these channels are becoming the same. There's very little variety in channels. They're all there for the fight, the war, the money. And I'm thinking, I'll turn the channel because this doesn't interest me anymore. I wouldn't dream of taking money for the crap vids I create. It's a hobby, it's fun, and I don't want to muck up with cash. Sounds brilliant. Now I do get, and have done for many years, get 15, 20 bucks a month. That's it. And we do little packages up for people and enjoy doing that. So I don't make any money on YouTube. And if they said to me tomorrow, and it probably is coming for lots of channels, if I get an email saying we've decided to demonetize your channel, I'd say, okay. And I'd still make cooking videos and I'd still chat to people. Because it's never been about the money for me. I wasn't going to do it for years, and someone said, no, just do it, and then you give away prizes. And I thought, that's a good idea. So I monetized, or applied for monetization one day. Next day, they said, you're monetized. Incredible. But like I say, pennies, not a lot of money. And could I create a channel that was diverse in drama, accusation, lies, and run a narrative? I could do that so easily. But you'd have to think why you're doing it. I'm probably going to be on about another 10 minutes. The wife's going to have a shower and I've got to look after the puppies. They're definitely attention deficit disorder, these chihuahuas. They really are. Yeah, I think if you, this would be a good test for people that do follow drama channels. Go away for 1 week. Don't know anything about what's going on. 1 week. Come back, turn on those drama channels. You wouldn't have missed a thing. Would have been different subject matter maybe, different accusation, but you wouldn't have missed a thing because it's the same thing, just a different day. Yes, this is why I get on, and that's why I want to do a few and see how they go, of getting people like Danny G up and asking her about what's your story, what's your life story, and within the reasons of anonymity, just explain, what happened and what life has unfolded for you. You don't have to give names, address and that, but I just find that's far more interesting than someone saying, oh, did you see what Cheryl did? Yeah, and then she went to Beryl's channel and then she went over to Mike's channel. There's no interest in that for me at all. I don't know what should add Vinny back means, sorry. No, I don't go to any channel that's a drama channel. I like Vinny, but he knows I won't go there. Not interested in people screaming at each other. I'll tell you what is exciting is life in its small intricacies. I watched a video of Adams the other day going down to his lake, and it's his special place. I'd be down there all the time. Go for a nice walk. He's actually going to be setting out a trail for skidoos to come through there, which it snows a lot where Adam lives. But that's interesting. That interests me. Like people doing a cooking video on an open fire. That interests me. Someone telling me about a recipe I've never heard about before. That really interests me. People building stuff, growing gardens, interests me. Then I come to a channel that's just fighting over nothing in particular. That does not interest me at all. And get out. Yeah, just what you said there, Sil. Get out. Look, some people can't. I'm well aware of people that have even told me they can't leave their home. They're that infirm, it's unlikely. Unless someone on a bus picks them up, puts them in a wheelchair, they're not going anywhere. But there's lots of things you can do, even with having a diminished capability. You might only have the use of one arm. Try painting. You know what I mean? There's got to be something creative within all of us, and I believe that. There's a creativity within all of us that's probably been suppressed with the way we live our lives. And I will be getting into a little bit of sketching or painting. When I said on the back veranda as an old man, being a young man as I am now, there's no need for that. But you know what I mean. there's a creativity in all of us, and I am going to pick up the guitar again. Not sure what I'm going to do with it, but yeah, like I say, the thing I don't like about channels is that you can go to all these shit shows, that's what they are to me, and they'll be talking about other people, they'll be accusing other people or defending themselves against some type of accusation, and all the while there's a button down the bottom saying, support the channel. Why? You get paid for your videos. Why should we, like I said, if I met Seal Hater and we have lunch and we have a great time, and me and the wife, and get on like a house on fire, and we get up to shake hands to say goodbye, and I say, Seal Hater, how about a $50 tip? It wouldn't happen. You wouldn't ask for it. So why would you ask for it online? You need to think about the reasons why people are asking or suggesting donating is a good idea. Really? Next time me and Danny G meet, the last thing that would cross our minds is that one of us is going to put a hand in our pocket to give the other one a tip. Would never happen. Maybe the waiter a tip. See you later, Buttercup. But each and every one is entitled to run their channel however way they like. The sad part for me is that we're all becoming the same. They're all melded into a similar pattern, and they've lost their individuality and their creativity as a person to join the shit show. It's like this huge train. It used to only have 3 carriages, the Shit Show Express. Now there's 400 carriages, an engine at the front's really struggling to get going, but the train is full. It's an analogy. But if you can tell me the difference between some of these channels, friend or foe channels of you, I'll be saying there is no difference. It's the other side of the spectrum, but it's the same shit show. Edible shot glasses. You wait until she gets you to bacon shot glasses, Adam. Bacon shot glasses. Go to Danny G's channel and be amazed. Actually, our daughter is in Thailand with her husband and our grandson, and in the place they're staying, they encourage the kids to make their own waffles. And the daughter sent me a photograph. He had 5 waffles, bananas, all this fruit, this much food. And she said he's going to be an elephant when he gets home. All right, loves, have a good day yourself. But being yourself is far easier than trying to pretend to be something else or making up stories. If you don't like someone, on YouTube in particular, there's a little button you can press that says ignore. You win. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to watch what they type. Simple. But if you enjoy the drama, you won't press that button, but you will complain about that person. You'll start a video about that person, then they will start one about you. You see what I mean? The biggest price that you can give to someone is to ignore them. Trust me, the people that like to stir the shit hate to be ignored. So if you ignore them, you drive them nuts. That's the advice for today, from Seeds to Freedom. Now, if you want to donate, no, I'm only kidding. Trust me, if you ignore a knobhead, they lose, not you. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. The magpies are screaming at me. I've got to get my biscuit. I do not need to know what people are doing, saying. Did I miss something? I don't care. For me, the relevancy is lost on me. I don't need to go back to that shit show tomorrow to find out whether Betty got found out that Betty was actually called John. I don't care. I don't need to know. When you learn the art of not needing to know, it's a very good world to live in. Seeds, you're Boyd though. I'm pre-Boyd. You know, you hear this saying, OG Boyd. Well, I'm long time before dream time. I was there. But I don't impose myself. There are things I know which would shock some of you people about the people you know. I have no need to say, because I like people to find out for themselves. Because if I said something, I'd be just like the shit shows, wouldn't I? Magpies are incredible. There's probably 30 that come here, and there's a post just behind this camera, and there are 2 in particular that will just land on that, and I can walk around, go up and down the stairs, and I can sit back down and get a biscuit and they'll take it. It's not as if they couldn't get a biscuit. I'll throw them on the ground, but they won't go down for those ones. They want to come up to this block. So magpies are quite intelligent as a species, and all over the world magpies look a little bit different. Even on the east coast of Australia they're different than on my coast on the west. Magpies will pick up anything, and they like dogs actually. I found a horde, what they call a magpie horde, which was just under an old gum tree, and there was bottle tops, there was a ring, there was half a necklace, all sorts of things. They just put them and they poked them under the bottom near the tree. So they're a bit of a hoarder. We've got another bird in Australia called a lyrebird, not Liar, Ly, and it does exactly that. It builds its nest out of all these bits and pieces. But I enjoy them. We have parrots, finches, we have all sorts of birds. When I get time to expand the backyard, there'll be areas for each of them. You build a certain rack size for finches that no other birds can get on, and etc. for different things, and different foods. Certain foods magpies won't eat, and parrots only eat certain things. But we love birds, but I hate anything in a cage. So we don't have one in a cage. They come to us, and I enjoy that. Anyway, I'm sure Kiwi's got to go to bed, and I'm sure the rest of you got to start your day. Good catching up with you. Get a bit of a sneak peek when the camera was working of the extension going on, and at the end of this week I will put a video. So there's another 3 or 4 days to the end of this week, and you'll see a lot more change. So if you're interested in that, have a stick a beak at the week 7 house extension video. Until then, we'll catch up with you. Have a great day wherever you are. Like I say, you go wherever you like. You talk to whoever you want to. Make sure you do it for your reasons, not just agreeing to someone who says this is the way you should think, because that's not how we're built. We're all individuals. Don't lose your individuality. Good night.